And I'll
And
be recording.
if you wanted to speed it up just a little bit, maybe 1.2 or something like that, that could probably help too for timing.
Yeah, I'm gonna record this right now. Okay.
There we go.
So there's people here, so I'm just gonna let them in. Hello. How's everyone doing so far on a Sunday morning? Well, not morning, afternoon.
Afternoon already. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Happy Sunday to everybody joining in.
Happy Sunday. If you guys can talk, then say something.
Thumbs
Something.
up or something. Wave.
Yes, sir. Um, Mr. Chris, you ended up getting that training on the CRM, right? I sent you a
Yeah,
video.
yeah, 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 yeah. It kind of refreshes me. Yeah. Never mind. Yes, I got it, man.
Awesome. So we're gonna wait for like maybe two more people, and then we're gonna start on this masterclass. And today is the masterclass for REI closers. So what we're gonna cover is acquisitions, and we're gonna cover everything in perspective of sales and closing skills. Okay. And Juan Nicasio is right here. He's the one that just shut down his camera, and he's the one that has been closing deals, putting properties under contract for several members here, and of course he has his own clients, but he he has a very high closing rate ratio, and he's well capable of doing this masterclass, making this masterclass something very juicy for your business. So if you guys can invite, if you guys have like team members that you can invite to this, that would be also awesome. We'll be starting in like 2 minutes when like maybe one or two more people join. All right. So 2 more minutes, and then we're gonna give it a go. Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah, yeah. Can we ask questions in the meantime, afterwards, or how's that gonna go?
Yeah. If you guys have urgent questions, like you can ask them, but we're gonna have a Q&A at the end. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, if you guys can if grab a piece of paper and a pen so you can jot down some notes, because I am going to be throwing out a lot of nuggets. And then if you have questions, if you put them in the chat or save them for the end, then we'll definitely have a Q&A.
Yep. We'll be sharing the recording. So we're gonna be downloading the recording, putting it into our membership site, and so anyone from your team can be going and seeing this whenever you guys need to. Okay.
Not too many Sunday grinders, I see, huh?
Or maybe
That-
forgetful people. Let's see. Let's see how many more. Okay, I think it's 12:05. All right, so I think we can go ahead and we can start this masterclass. All right, so let me just share my screen. I'm gonna show you what we have prepared for you. Um, all right, let's go, guys.
Let's do it.
Awesome. So what is this masterclass going to be about? This masterclass is going to be about closing creative financial deals masterclass. But as a whole, we will be talking about just closing, like everything closing, because it just is relevant to everything else, even if you do cash deals. Okay. So before we begin, guys, we have 3 case studies that we would love to share with you, and these case studies are, really awesome because it gives you a perspective on how important it is to actually know how to close, even if you have a motivated seller on your hand. So, case study number 1, we have the reason why right now we're working with one is because we have generated about 100 motivated sellers to a team that the team was pretty fresh into the game, was pretty fresh into going into real estate investing. And we have generated about 100 motivated sellers. They got 0 contracts, and there was absolutely no juice or no meat in the bones whenever it is on closing. So I was getting desperate. I was trying to help them. I was trying to find a way, a solution. And even though we were getting motivated sellers, there was no contracts being made. So 100 motivated seller leads, and I was able to check in every single conversation that was going on in the back end. The conversations, in my opinion, um, could have been so much better whenever they get on the phone. The use of their tonality, the use of the questions that they had, the transition of the questions. There's a lot of mixed bag of things that actually went wrong in conversations that absolutely did not go well. People missed appointments. People did not do follow up properly. People just missed a lot of principles in acquisitions, the acquisition world. So because of that, we came in, and Juan actually was here to save the day. And what happened is the first 2 weeks, actually a week and a half of him being in with the team, he closed 3 contracts. So automatically he made it a 3% closing ratio, with, of course, having already 100 motivated sellers that were in their pipeline doing nothing. So he closed 3 contracts in just a week and a half, and that's case study number 1. That's one of the proof in the pudding that closing is a big chunk of this. So case study number 2, your wholesaling business with inconsistent months with good motivated seller pipeline. So what does that entail? You do wholesaler or fix and flip, but you're having inconsistent months, but you still have good motivated sellers pipeline. So why is that important to note? Because you have a wholesaling business and you're not capable of monetizing every single lead because your goal is only to wholesale. You're going to have a lot of trouble on closing as many leads as you can, convert as many leads as you can, because you only have one exit strategy. So we came in with one, and now we're taking care of the creative finance part, right? Case study number 3, the leads suck. They want retail value, not equity on their home. One of the first things that you guys are going to learn about, of course, creative financing, and you have learned, pretty sure you guys know about this, is that you will deal with maybe unrealistic sellers or people that don't accept a cash offer on whatever they are, or whatever what you ask them, or maybe there is no equity in their home. But maybe you're also saying the lead suck, but really the lead could not suck. Maybe it's just the way that you delivered your message on an offer. Maybe the lead could suck, but also you have to take a look at into what you're doing when you get this person on the phone, and well, actually what you're doing when you're in an appointment. So a top closer came in to save the day. Like I just show you, well, right here we're with Juan Nicasio, and he closed hundreds of deals himself in as little as 2 years. His passion is sales and closing deals, and he's part of a very high level mastermind of real estate investors that make over 300K a month each one of the person that is in that mastermind. That's Juan. Juan, again, I want you to meet everyone that is watching this. He's our world-class closer, and he has something that he closes everything that is closable. All right.
Well,
Okay.
thank you so much for the introduction, man. I'm honored to be on here with these folks, and I hope that I can add tremendous value so that they can go into their office or to their operation on Monday and really apply a lot of these things that we're going to talk about, and really get ahead of the game. Sales is fun. Sales is fun, and it has its principles. It has its way of creating opportunities. You just have to follow these steps. You just have to be a salesperson and not be fearful. Everything's about consistency and lack of fear, a lot of confidence, right? And so with that being said, if you can go to the next slide, I mean, we'll start getting into a little bit about, what this is. I want to focus mainly in this call on some of the fundamental stuff, which is really like the mindset, right? Of being a closer. Okay. And then we can get into a couple of the pivoting of the structuring of finance, creative financing. Obviously, that's a topic within itself that would take, it is a class, it is an entire course in order to learn that. But today I'm going to show you guys how to at least start capitalizing on those leads that you have that maybe is retail, maybe it doesn't fit the cash mold for wholesaling, things like that. And then we'll talk a little bit about the objections, right? And going through that. And then I'll go ahead and show you guys a case study with a recording of a motivated seller from that team that Esteban was talking about, and how I was able to go ahead and convert that. I believe that was probably like the first or second call that I had from that team, and I was able to really convert that lady. And it's a phenomenal call. And then we'll wait till the end for the Q&A. Okay. So my name is Juan Nicasio. I've been in real estate for going on a little bit over 5 years, and I've been involved in well over 1,000 plus transactions in those years, mainly wholesaling, right, and then pivoting into creative structure. We've been, very, very successful wholesaling business here in South Florida, where we would do a minimum of 70 to 100 deals a year in wholesale, right? Kind of changed a few things up when the market started tightening up. I started to see a lot of the deals not converting into wholesale. So I wasn't going to sit there, with my finger stuck somewhere trying to figure out how to create cash deals. What are the other opportunities? How can I monetize these leads that we pay so much for, and they just go to waste? Like what happens to those people? And so creative financing was the next level, right? And that right there is pure gold, and you can definitely build a very large net worth, right? Utilizing this type of strategy. So let's get into the mindset of
Let's
a
get into
closer.
the meat
Yeah,
and
let's do
potatoes.
it. The meat and
Awesome.
potatoes.
I'm
So
excited,
there's
guys.
I'm
I'm excited.
excited. I'm excited. I want you guys to, take down some notes here. Some of it is not going to be revolutionary. Some of it is going to be a kick in the butt, but it is definitely something that you must have in front of you. This is the fundamentals of sales, right? Mindset. Number one, you got to do this business like Nike. You just got to do it. You got to get off your ass and you have to get it done. It's like working out. I personally work out 6 days a week, right? And there are days that I'm hurting. My body is in pain, but I don't want to go to the gym. My body hurts. I want to sleep. It's 5:30 in the morning. Like I just want to sleep. It's raining all the time in Florida now, and that's specifically the times where I don't want to get up. But guess what? I get up and I show up. As soon as I show up, that's 50% of the battle. I'm going to go ahead and get the work done. So it's going to be the same thing with sales. You're going to have these leads, sitting there, and we just need to go and get it. We just have to make the calls. We can't be fearful. We can't say, let's overanalyze, right? And we got to get in front of it. We have to go ahead and just make the calls. Okay. Number two, we have to stop waiting until we feel good. So it's a segue of the first point. Can't wait. Overanalyzing. How about if they're upset? How about if it's too early? How about if it's too late? How about if they're at lunchtime? Oh, I don't want to bother them because they might be in a meeting. Or I don't know the numbers just yet, right? I haven't analyzed the deal. That doesn't matter. None of that matters. Don't wait until you feel a certain type of way or you over analyze. The most of the success that I've had is just literally jumping in, making the calls, not waiting until I feel good, until I think that the client is ready to take my call or what have you. I call because 80% of the battle is just making the call. right? Um, the next I would say is don't overanalyze, right? Don't overanalyze a lot of this stuff. Okay, a lot of people just spend their time really honing in on the deal structuring, right? How about if I can't do the cash thing? How about if I don't know how to do owner finance or any of that stuff? Stop analyzing, right? Let's get to it. Let's get to work, right? Because a lot of people, what happens is that they live in fear of making these calls or trying to do this the transactional type of work, right? And what I would say here is this: don't be fearful, because people can't hurt you over the phone, right? You speak to people, you call them. What's the worst that can happen? They tell you no. They tell you, I'm not ready right now, or I'm upset. Don't call me ever again. Those type of things are just limiting beliefs, right? And they can't hurt you. Okay. uh, I've never had an experience where making calls that are hard to make, you know to be harmful to you. No, it actually it should empower you, right? It should empower you to take these calls, right, to push forward and really practice your craft. Okay. Then we have to keep in mind, you know, sales is a sport, right? And it's a numbers game. Take the emotions out of the equation, okay? Um, and you're able to, be able to really get ahead of the game, right? Because often we get so upset, we get pissed off, we get shut down, and then we stoop down to the seller's level, right? And that right there, removing the emotional part out of it, right? It allows you, right, to always be looking forward, always trying to do your best, and hoping and creating the best outcome for the sellers, right? We're professionals and we're looking to do things in a logical way. They're trying to create a win for themselves. And if you put yourself in the mindset of creating win-win solutions, right, that is going to go ahead and change your closing ratio. Okay, because it is a sport. They are always on defense, and we always have to be on the offense looking to score. Does that make sense? Give me some thumbs up, some waves. Okay, cool. Um, Part of mindset is, and the sport of the game is the consistency. I know that sounds elementary. I know that sounds elementary, but in the consistency, it is everything. If you want to be a very high performer, you must be doing the work every single day. There are people that, on any given day, they're all fired up, right? They're like ready to crush. It's Monday, let's get it. They'll bang out 50 to 100 calls, right? And then the next day, they're kind of burnt out and they do nothing with those calls, right? I'd rather you be the person that does 25 amazing calls, right, at 100% effort every day, than the one that does 100 calls at half-ass, right, maybe once or twice a week. So what happens is that's going to lead to major inconsistency in your business. So as you saw in that others in the beginning slide, that you have 100 motivated sellers, but if you don't, if you're not consistently on top of it, you're not doing the follow-up, right? You're not doing the conversion. You're scared to take the calls. You're scared to convert the deal, right? You're not going to get any contracts. It's inevitable. But if you go ahead and give it your all every single day, and you can set up that platform where you said, no, every single day I'm going to hit this 25 calls, or I'm going to go ahead and follow up with all these clients every single day, right? Your pipeline is always going to be full, and you're always going to produce results month in and month out. Okay. Which leads me to, productivity, right? And pipeline. Okay. A lot of sales organizations, they're always worried about their sales numbers right now. And they forget that sales are a result of the work that we put in for the last couple of weeks, for the last month, for the last couple of months that come into fruition, right? For this week, for this month. And if we can focus on doing the work that we have to do this week and staying consistent with the numbers and the amount of people that we can get in front of to structure these deals on a consistent basis, right? Your pipeline is always going to be full and you're always going to have consistent closings. It's the problem that we face, like I said before, is not doing the work, not getting into it, not doing like the gym stuff, right? Like every single day, show up. It's painful. It's it's hard. I got rejected, by X amount of people. The leads suck, right? All these things that we say, but what really matters is how can we pick up every single time, get right back up, keep making the calls. Who's the next person? No emotions. Oh, you told me to go F myself. Thank you very much. Have a great day. God bless you. Get on to the next call. Whatever just happened already happened. It doesn't matter anymore. We're moving on. Guess what I'm going to do with those people that told me to go F myself? Right? I'm going to stay consistent with them. And I'm going to call them again in a couple of weeks, in a month. How are you doing? Maybe they were pissed off. You can't stoop down to their level. You can't allow, your business because you spend money on these leads. This business costs money. Whoever tells you real estate investment, no money down, no money out of pocket, blah, 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 is full of shit. You have to put a cost factor into your life. What are you worth every single hour that you're putting into your business? Right? And so I'm going to take those leads and I'm going to be consistent and I'm going to be fearless and I'm going to call them. Listen, last time I spoke to you, you were a little upset. I'm just following back up because I'm looking to buy another property, right? Where are you today with that? Go F yourself. Thank you very much. God bless you. Move on to the next thing. It's not non-emotional because I have to make sure that I stay consistent and that I have my pipeline full, okay, at all times in order for me to have the amount of closings that I need to have on a monthly basis and run a healthy and profitable organization. Okay. Work smarter, not harder. I know you guys have heard that in the past. I know it sounds very elementary, but at the end of the day, look, us as salespeople, naturally, right? Although we're hustlers and we are hungry, we're freaking lazy. And you and I both know that if we had it our way, we only want to be in front of hot, motivated sellers that are ready to close today, right?
Boom.
Right. 9 times out of 10, oh, I only want to speak to, somebody that's going to say yes today. The truth of the matter is that's not sales. Sales is not, always going to be that way. And so what I'd say is we just need to create a funnel. We have to create a process in where we're getting first of all, in front of the phones, we're making the calls, right? We are going to be top closers by being able to identify who are the tire kickers and who's wasting our time. Okay, so in order for us to pack a mean punch into our business and into our day to be able to consistently be closing on a daily basis, right, we would need to get in front of the closable deals. So what does that mean? What that means is let's not waste time with people that are not closable, that are not decision makers, that are at, we're not asking the right questions, right? We're not putting in front of them the deal killers. What happens is that we don't ask enough questions sometimes as salespeople to find out where the real pain is, where the real motivation is, what is it that will allow them to make a decision on the call today, or maybe by end of week. Did we set the deadline? Did we ask the right questions? Did we ask them, what needs to happen? What does this sale look like to you? If you sold to me today, are you ready today? Where are you going? Okay, you live in the property, right? If I put in a contract today, I don't care for how much money, I give you exactly what you want. What's your next step, sir, ma'am? Oh, well, I need 6 months. Well, guess what? That's not a closable deal because that's not what you needed. You're looking for somebody that's out of this property within 30 days if you're going to go ahead and give them cash, or if you're going to create a creative finance deal. We need to know where this thing is going, right? And so we want to eliminate as many tire kickers, right, and people that are not closable as fast as possible, so that we can get through the leads that are ready to close, right? And we can spend most of our efforts and our time closing deals with closable people that can make the decision, that are the viable leads that we need. And that's how we'll be able to go ahead and have a consistency in closing. Right? Thumbs up, makes sense. And then finally, on the topic of mindset, do you guys ever ask yourself, either on a daily or even weekly basis, why you do what you do? Why are you guys in sales? Why are you guys in this business? Like, do you really do that? Can I get on the chat? Can I get a couple ones? How many ones do we have here? You guys are actually doing that or not? Because at the end of the day, we need to know our why and why we do what we do, right? Ask yourself that. Write it down. Put it in front of your computer, right? Because it becomes real. Are we? How is it? The time that we're spending in this organization, in our business, right? How is it impacting us and other people's lives, right? Who are we trying to help? What is the outcome? Are you trying to buy a Porsche? Are you trying to buy a house? Are you trying to take care of your family? Are you trying to just build an organization to help, just people? Like, what is it, right? And that would help us to become better at our craft, because we have now, just like the sellers, we're looking for the pain. We're trying to solve our pain as well, right? Our pain point, because you as us as humans, we have to feel that. We have to fill that void that we have, or that necessity that we have. And that's what's going to help us to become better closers, believe it or not. Okay. So as far as mindset, that's pretty much one of the, some of the principles that I would say, to kind of follow in order to be consistently closing, to be, ready to crush it every single day and create that consistency that everybody's looking for. Again, I know that some of it may sound elementary, but at the end of the day, from a fundamental standpoint, most of us are not doing that, and we're not following that. And
Yeah,
then
guys.
that's why we're having the inconsistencies.
Yeah, and you guys know something. You guys gotta understand that human beings, they learn out of repetition. I know we have maybe told you things right now that have been told to you in the past, but as long as you have a repetition mindset, that you're doing everything repeatedly and you're being absorbing these things repeatedly, you're going to get it. You're sometimes going to forget. Your mind is going to get tired, and you're going to forget that you need to do these things. And that's why we are repeating this right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just, it's about eight steps. Number one, do it. Number two, stop waiting, right? Number three, they can't hurt you. Number four, it's a sport. Number five, it's consistency. Number six, pipeline, right? Number seven, work hard. Work smart, not hard, rather. And number eight, know your why. With those principles, right? Every single day and every single week, you're able to really crush it, just with those principles alone. Everything else is just really you being you, and you sharpening your craft by getting as many no's as possible on the phone, by having X amount of conversations, and really seeing look, from what I experienced in the last, I've been doing sales for over 15 years, in real estate 5, but in sales is 15 plus. And it's never about us. It's really about the client and what the client is looking to accomplish. And some of it is, lack of knowledge, some type of pain point, something that we need to do and solve, right? And so the more people that we speak to, you're going to start hearing a lot of those same consistencies, right? And I love that, because in sales, you can go ahead and just tell them about an experience that you had. Oh yeah, I had this other seller that, her mom, kind of passed away. They left it to, 3 of her kids, and they started fighting, and it became this crazy probate deal. And then you can just start using those experiences. But if you're not on the phone and you're not consistently doing these type of deals, and you're not gaining those experiences, whether good or bad, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to relate with their future sales potential, sellers, right? uh, because you can't relate. You haven't gone through the process. You've never gone through, entire, sales funnel to see how that would have turned out. Because what's going to end up happening is you're going to start building credibility, right? With the amount of calls that you do and the amount of stories that you hear. Oh man, yeah, I understand completely, right? I get it 100%. I had this case that went this, da, da, da. Now you show, oh my God, these people know what they're talking about. Easy closes, right? With the experience.
Awesome. Awesome, guys. All right. So you know that mindset is everything. You know what to expect before taking phone appointments. Yep. The closer mind. That's something that Juan has learned over 15 years. Now we're gonna. Are you done, Juan, or do you want to just?
Well, no, I got more, man. I got more. I want to go start giving some nuggets. I know we went through the fundamentals and stuff like that, and I hope that alone really pumped everybody up to really get going as soon as today or tomorrow, and really start crushing it. But now I want to give some more meat and potato, more value here.
Let's do it. Let's get the meat and potatoes. All right. So Juan, tell us. This slide is all yours. Okay.
All right. Cool.
To structure creative finance deals.
So, I mean, I'm not sure, how everybody's organization looks like. I don't know if you guys all do wholesale, fix and flip, or what have you, but, the majority of people, are doing wholesaling, right? And it's just like what we talked about earlier. It's like, okay, well, you go through your sales funnel, you go through your sales pitch, you're looking at the numbers, and the cash offer doesn't work, right? What do you do with those leads? Are you just saying, hey, whatever, it just didn't fit, this is a garbage lead? Or are you looking to monetize this, these leads? How can we do it? And the way is through doing it through creative financing, right? I'm going to show you a very basic script that I have, and we're more than happy to go ahead and share it with you guys. That, because you don't have to be a pro at structuring the deals at the moment. And that's, I think, probably one of the biggest fears that most sales organizations have is, oh my God, I don't know enough about it for me to even talk about it. How do I even pivot to something like that? Like, how, after I gave them a low ball offer and they didn't take it, like, what do I do now? Like, how do I even talk to them about, creative structure? How about if they don't, they're not going to be receptive to it because I already gave them a low ball. Like, they probably don't even want to deal with us. I mean, that's a lot of the fears that people have, or just not knowing how to actually structure the actual finance part. And I'm going to tell you right now, it has nothing to do with anything. If you could just follow a couple of different questions and pain points, right, and go a little bit deeper, the structuring of the deals, they're pretty much going to tell you what that is. They're going to structure the deal, and all you have to do is just make sense of it, and then go through that same sales funnel. It's going to be the same type of, trying to get the property for as little as humanly possible, doing the creative finance. And it's all obviously in tonality, how you present, this option, right? And then following the script. So if you don't mind, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. Give me 1 second, and I'm going to go through. Means, I'm going to go through my script. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some fire stuff that's been working for a lot of my clients, and it's freaking easy as pie. This thing converts like crazy. You don't have to have all the answers, I promise you. Let me see here. You would have to stop sharing, Esteban, so that I can share. That's what it's telling me.
Absolutely, man. I'll give you the ball now.
All right, so let's see if I can pick up the ball. Share this bad boy right here. Let's give me 1 second, guys. Let's see if I can make this pretty big. Let's focus. Here we go. You guys can see it? Cool. So I'm gonna go really quickly through what it's supposed to sound like, right? It may not be word for word. This is just obviously a guideline. What I do is this with my salespeople, or for yourselves, if you guys are doing your sales by yourself, you don't have acquisition managers or anything like that that are helping you. Once you get to the point where you get rejected for a cash offer, right? It's all good. All you have to do is just follow this specific script just to kind of flow right into the pivot of creative finance to try to see how you can monetize this lead, because they're on the phone with you because they have a need to sell. I mean, at least I'm assuming that. Hopefully you dug enough where you understand that yes, at some point they're going to sell, whether it's they're going to sell it to you or they're going to sell it somehow, but they want to go ahead and sell this property, whether it's over market, under market, just at market, whatever the situation is. You're able to go ahead and use this so that you can go ahead and pivot, right? So basically it sounds like this. They already rejected you for the offer. Hey, sir, for this particular property, the way we buy houses, we're gonna buy it as is, how is, where is, paying all closing costs, no agent commission, the whole 9 yards. Sir, we really need to be at $100,000. Oh my God, you got to be kidding me! There's no way that I will sell it for 100,000. You must be crazy. This house is worth 200 grand. This, that, and the other. Okay, yes, I follow you, sir. I follow you. So Bob, look, it doesn't sound like we're gonna be able to come to an agreement today, but what if we could do this, right? What if I take note of what you're looking for on the property, and then we can send this over to our underwriting department to see if there's anything creative that we can come up with to get you exactly what you want or close to it. Are you open to that? Boom, let them answer, right? If they say, oh, I don't want to list this, a lot of people think that you're going to list the property. No, no realtor is going to call you. It's just us trying to create a win-win solution for you. Great.
This was really good. Okay, so tell us, this part, I know it's crucial because you've told us so many times, you've shared this script, but people don't know how to properly deliver the first message. Tell us about the tonality that you've used, or the tonality that you have been implementing, or whatever it is that you need to be doing in order for this to work.
Well, I mean, basically, don't let the rejection stop you. It's like what we talked about earlier. Like, don't be fearful. It's a sport, right? And we can't worry about the rejection. Like, that's nothing, right? We're problem solvers. Okay. So the mindset behind that is just, it's okay. Sure, you rejected me. That's fine, because you know that you have additional tools in your belt now, right? That you can go ahead and monetize it if it's not going to work on the cash, right? And so at that point, it's just, you've now become a problem solver. All right, now take the weight off. Okay, take a deep breath when you get to this point. Once you get rejected, right, on the cash thing, take a deep breath. Now it's freaking easy. This is butter at this point. You already went through the hard part. The hard part was trying to get the property pennies on the dollar. Yes.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
So now you got rejected. What's your next thing? Is to take a deep breath. Now you go, okay, I follow you. Not a problem, right? Nothing happened here. Look, sir, it doesn't sound like we're going to go ahead and be able to make it. Now you're doing the push away. Doesn't sound like we're going to be able to go ahead and get to an agreement today. And that's fine, right? But what if we could do this? What if we can take note of what you're looking for, right, on the property, and then send this to my underwriting department? What does that do for you guys? What that does for you guys is that now you relieve yourself from the pressure of having to give this guy another solution or come up with a creative deal, because it's your underwriting department who's going to look at it. You see how easy that is? Because so now you're not like, oh my God, but so now I'm going to give him this script about going into the creative financing and I have no idea how to freaking even structure this thing, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. You already pushed it over to your underwriting department. Now you sound like you're dealing with a very large organization, okay? Whether you're small and you're a one-man show, or you do have an operation, you're putting it on somebody else. Does that make sense? Relieve the pressure. Now it's going to be easy as pie. Now you're just going to go through the script to get to dig some more pain, some more motivation. What do you really want? Because a lot of times you get on the phone on the first call and it's about cash. Yeah, you say you guys can do a cash offer, and I just want to hear the fair offer that you said, and you say you can pay almost top dollar, all the crap that they tell you. Absolutely. You give them the number, which was the hardest part. Okay. The hardest part just happened. They rejected you. Good, good. That's phenomenal. Let's go and breathe now. So that's the whole tonality is there. It's like, okay, well, I know we can't get the deal done today, sir. Right? We can't come to an agreement today, but let me see if I can help you. Now they're disarmed and you're disarmed. So now they're like, okay, well, this guy just lowballed the crap out of me. Okay. But now he's probably gonna come to, closer to my number. I want to see what the hell this person has to say. Now you got him intrigued again. That's the whole point of this. Now you're gonna, you throw the bait out there and you see if they catch it. And that's the whole point of this whole script. It's not about structuring the deal on the one call. Now everybody breathes. Now everybody relaxes. Now everybody's disarmed. And now you're throwing an additional bait out there so that they can grab it. And if they go through this entire script and they say yes to pretty much all of these questions, then you have yourself something that you can work off. And you can do this on another call. This is set up for another call. This is not set up for a one call close unless creative financing like the back of your hand. So I would go through the script and I would because I've done so many, I'm going to go ahead and close them. I'm going to know the numbers. I'm going to know a lot of different information, but it takes time for you to get there. There is no rush here though. You understand what I'm saying? Now, you don't need to be an expert today. This I want to provide to you guys so that at least you can start monetizing some of these deals, right? So we move on and we say, hey, great, right? They say, yes, I'm open to whatever creative thing you can come up with. Great. So what's the net number you're looking to walk away with when you sell this property? Some people don't even understand what net number means, right? Well, let's imagine if it's closing day and you're walking away with a check. What's the number on that check? What am I trying to do there? I'm just trying to get the number that they think that they're going to walk away with. Now I found out the real motivating factor. Let's just say they have a mortgage, right? The property's worth 100, they owe 80 grand, right? They're going to tell you, well, I'm looking to walk away with at least like 20 grand. That's it. That's the deal right there. You just figured it out. They're looking for $20,000. They're not looking for 100 grand. What they're looking for is $20,000 check. Does that make sense? Nod your heads. Give me some thumbs up.
Give us a 1 in the keyboard of Zoom if you guys know that. I mean, if you guys just got that. If you guys did not understand, it's okay. Give us a 2 if you guys did not.
If you didn't understand, I'll go through it and help you understand why I say they're not looking for 100 and they're only looking for 20. What do we got here, Stefan? I can't even see the chat.
We got ones.
We got a bunch of ones. Okay, we got some good ones. So so basically now this is the beginning of your deal structuring. You write that down. They're looking for 20 grand, right? Then what I typically go into, let's just say they don't have a mortgage and they do want 100 grand. Is that already accounting for closing costs, commissions, and fees, right? Because some people say, yeah, I want to sell my house for $100,000, but they forget that if they were to list this property or sell it traditionally, they're not going to make 100 grand. So you got to remind them of that. Is that already accounting for closing costs, commissions, and any fees? You see how I said that? Oh, is that already accounting for closing costs, commissions, and any fees? They forgot. Oh shit, yeah. I'm gonna have like 6 to 8% in fees by the time I sell this thing. So in reality, I guess I'll walk away with 80 grand, not 100. Boom. So you got yourself, the actual number that you need to work off, right? Or if they have a mortgage, okay, it's the same thing. Is that already accounting for the mortgage? Oh, no. I mean, I guess if you guys take that into consideration, the number is X, right? So now you go into the script and say, look, Bob, let me ask you, About how much do you still owe on the mortgage if they still owe a mortgage, right? You want to ask it this way. You don't want to say, you never want to say to them like, oh, what's your mortgage balance? They're gonna get offensive. Oh, that's personal information, whatever. Even though it's public information, you can, if you have PropStream, you have some other tools or whatever, you can find it. But people find it's very, very personal. So you got to be very careful on your tonality and how you ask the question. Hey, about how much do you still have left on the mortgage balance? When you do that, how about on average, about what range? If you ask it that way, like general, they're going to give you the number every single time. I never had anybody not give me the number. The only time people did not give me the number is if I say, hey, what's your mortgage balance? You see the difference? Who the hell is this fucking guy asking me for my mortgage balance? Like, what are you talking about, right?
I can't tell you how many times I've done it exactly this way and get zero response.
You do it, you say, what's your mortgage balance?
Yes, yes. And I was getting zero response. They're like, why do you care? I need a cash offer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, oh
Yeah,
shit,
yeah.
here we go.
So if you set them up right from the top of the script about how you're going to come up with an a creative solution, now they're going to be open to ask to giving you more data because it's a creative solution. And if they do ask you that, right, say, why do you need that? Well, like I have mentioned, we buy properties in a couple different ways, sir, and we're just trying to create a win-win solution, right? Our cash offer didn't work, so we want to go ahead and send it to our underwriters so that we can see how we can get closer to your number, right? And then I do have that rebuttal here as well, right? If they say, if they ask you about the whole mortgage thing, right? Like I mentioned, we may have to get creative in order to pay your asking price or close to it. In some cases, in order for us to do so, we may ask to take over your current monthly payments. Is that even an option? Is that even an option? It's either a yes or it's a no. Right? And that's how you're going to go ahead and qualify whether they're open to doing something like this and monetize this lead. But it's all about the tonality and the way that you ask it. So if you come to number 2, let me ask you about how much is still left in the mortgage balance ballpark. You can add that there. So I'm giving you a framework. You don't have to say it exactly this way, but I'm giving you the framework. I'm giving you, something that is going to allow you to be yourself, right? As long as you know how to structure it, you say, hey, about how much is still left on that mortgage, about ballpark. They're gonna tell you, oh, it's about 100 grand. I'm gonna tell you the truth. 9 times out of 10, even when I go through the owner finance, nobody knows the exact number. The sellers don't know because they're just their money comes out automatically out of their account, or they write a check every single month. They know that for the next 30 years, they got to pay $965.20. And that's really what they know. Some of them get the mortgage statement, but they're not looking at the balance because that number is so scary to them. Because this is a 30-year, $100,000 loan, $200,000, $300,000 loan. You don't want to look at that number. If you're a homeowner, you don't want to look at that number because for the next 30 years, this is what you owe. And so all they look at is the monthly, right? So if you do the whole ballpark, they're going to go ahead and give you a ballpark. Oh, I believe it's going to be like about 100 grand. Okay. What do the monthly payments look like on something like that? Oh, it's about $900 a month. Great. Does that include principal, interest, taxes, and insurance? And the reason you ask it is because you have to dig into all the numbers to see if the creative deal is going to make any sense, right? So now we get the mortgage balance, right? So I know that what they need to walk away with. Number 2, I get the monthly payments so that I know if there's any cash flow opportunity there, right? Are there any other monthly fees for the property outside of the monthly mortgage payments, HOA, second mortgage, or any other home warranty, things like that? You want to find that out because there's people that have solar panels, they have, home warranties for their appliances and stuff like that that's transportable, and you have to kind of account for that when you do your numbers. That's why the underwriter needs to know all of this data. So that's all you're doing now is just digging for data. You forget about your sales. You take your sales hat off, right? And now you're just digging for information so that you can later come in and do your sales job. Does that make sense? So now, if we were to pay your asking price or very close to it, would you consider selling the property on terms? Use that word. Don't say creative financing subject to or any of these fancy words that us as real estate investors know how to use. Those people have no idea what that means. Okay. So what the way that I do it is I say, hey, would you consider selling this property on terms? Right? Is that even an option? And they ask, and if they ask what terms are, then you go ahead and go into the script. So yeah, so basically, like I mentioned earlier, I may have to get a little creative in order to get closer to your asking price or close to it. In some cases, we have to take over the monthly payments. You don't have to get into the whole, detail about owner financing and stuff like that, because you're going to fall into a rabbit hole that you won't be able to get yourself out of if you don't know, creative financing, subject to things like that in depth. You're going to get yourself in trouble, right? And so you don't get yourself in trouble. It's a very general question with a very general answer that really kind of simplifies it for them, right? I'm just going to want to know if we can take over your monthly payments. Is that even an option? It's a yes or no, right? And if they don't have a mortgage, hey, look, like I mentioned earlier, we may have to get creative. Get creative on this deal, right? To get close to your, in some cases with these higher prices, in order to pay your asking price or close to it, we may have to ask for you to finance it directly. Is that even an option? Right? So basically, you're asking them if they would finance you the property. Is that even an option? Because it's at a higher price. Typically, like I said, in all cash, we pay all the closing costs, we pay everything. We got to be at 100 grand. You're asking, 200,000. It may not be a problem for us, but would you consider potentially financing that property to us? Is that even an option? And that's it. And then it's going to be a yes or no, right? This fourth part that you see here, let me see if I scroll down a little bit. You see here, it's an additional creative thing that I do. I can get into more depth in another call regarding this one, but basically there are some deals where the cash doesn't make sense for them, right? But the house still needs a bit of work. And sometimes what I do is I say, the house needs a little bit of work, right? And then they say yes. What if we were able to go into the house, right? Make the updates out of our pocket, then find a buyer for it and get you exactly what you're looking for. Are you even open to that? Basically, what I'm doing is it is a creative way where if, let's just say, the house is worth 200, but he wants 120,000, right? And I know that there's a little bit of meat there. Maybe it just needs like a $10,000-$20,000 rehab, right? And they are looking to pocket 120. What I tell them is, okay, what if you put up the house? Basically, this is what it is. What if you put up the house, right? I put in the work. I sell it for more than what you're looking to net, and I keep the difference. Plus, I get my investment back. That's another creative way of doing things. So that's why I asked the question, right? So at the end of the day, you will get what you're looking for, right? With this option, we would make the repairs. We will sell the property for you at a higher price and keep the difference of the price. Simple as that. That's just a creative way of doing things. Does that make sense to you guys?
But at this point, you're locking the property at the asking price or whatever you want to lock the property right there and then.
That's it. I can go ahead and say, oh, if you're open to something like that, as long as you know that it makes sense, right? Then yes, say, okay, well, look, typically I have to buy at 100, but if I close on it, I have to, my closing cost 105, then, I have to put $20,000 into the property, then I have to go ahead and sell it. And then I'm gonna have to pay commissions on there as well and closing costs as well. So if you do your numbers and it makes sense, you can lock them in at 120, right? You know that you're only gonna put 10 or 15 into the property, right? And then when you sell it at 200, 205 or whatever the number is, minus, commission and closing costs, he can net his 120. You get your investment back plus whatever profits. The numbers got to make sense, right? But you're here not to lock in the deal, right? Here is just, is that even an option? If we can do that, would you even consider doing something like that? Remember, you're not selling on this script. That's not the point of this script. It's not to sell. Remember, you took your sales hat off the moment that they rejected you. Now you're a problem-solving company. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And trying to monetize this deal as best as possible. Then once we get a yes to these questions, right? Let them fester. It's okay to let them fester for a day. Get back to them tomorrow. Okay? And then put your sales hat back on. Listen, I understand you're looking to walk away with whatever. You're looking to walk away with $20,000. Okay? But if I did this deal, my underwriter said that the most that we can do is we can go ahead and give you, $10,000 cash upfront, your equity, and we take over the monthly payments. It's the same thing as cash, as a cash deal. Does that make sense to you guys? All you're doing is just negotiating what they're looking to walk away with. It's the same thing. So they wanted $120,000 to walk away, right? And you know that the most that you can do is $100,000, right? The deal didn't work. He rejected your cash offer. What he really wants is $20,000. So now you're just negotiating the $20,000 and taking over their monthly payments. No, we can't. My underwriter said that in order for the numbers to work, we can get very, very close to what you're asking, but it would have to be about $10,000 in cash, and we can do that by the end of the month, and we'll take over the monthly payments. Is that something that we can get locked in today? Boom. So you just negotiated the deal again. You see that? Or if the deal makes sense at 1,000%, where whatever the numbers make sense, you don't want to lose the deal. It's a solid deal, $20,000 down, and then you take over the property. That's awesome. You just bought a property for $20,000, $10,000, $20,000, $15,000.
Juan, we got with a
house
question.
That's worth 200. Huh?
Juan, we got a question here. Actually, two questions. Like, can you explain the JV thing a little bit more? Would you still close on like a subject to? And the second question is like, how do you respond when they say no to any of those questions about the terms?
Perfect. So the first question, remember, I don't want to get too into detail about the JV stuff because, that's a completely different segue. That's a different course or master course, to be honest with you. But basically, you could definitely take it, subject. You don't have to take it subject to, because remember, if you take it subject to, guys.
Oh, sorry.
There's some feedback in there. If you take it subject to on a JV deal, then now you are responsible for the mortgage. Why would you want to do that? Let them still be responsible for the mortgage and their normal process, right? Whatever they're responsible for. All you're there to do is to add value to the property, gain control of the property, sell the property, right? Take your initial investment plus the overage and put it in your pocket so they can walk away with whatever they were asking for. Call it the 120, right? And you took home $40,000 after you sold the property. You made your money. You put in 10, you sold it, you made, whatever, you made $20,000, $30,000. That's a good ROI on a $10,000, $15,000 investment. And no risk. You didn't have to go to a hard money lender. You didn't have to go ahead and put it in all cash. You didn't have to go pay any holding costs. All you did was put in the work, right? Add the value, sold it as normal to an end buyer. The homeowner is gonna go ahead and sign off all the paperwork. There is a specific way to do it. It's a different type of course. It's a different type of class that I would have to show you. It's just part of my creative deal structuring. And I wanted to just kind of briefly touch on it, but there's less risk when you do it that way if you like fix and flipping, or you can wholesale this agreement to another fix and flipper. If you call a fix and flipper and say, hey, listen, I got a house in 123 Main Street. It's worth $220,000, and all you have to do is come in at $30,000, right? You just wholesale that option. You just made yourself $10,000 because he wanted 120. The property needs maybe 10. You tell him, listen, I can sell you this particular deal at $20,000, $30,000, and it makes sense to them. Boom, you just created a wholesale deal for yourself on a JV agreement. It's super, ninja stuff, and it's a lot to throw at you guys right now. But I did want to answer that question. Now, on the question, how do you respond when they say no to any of those questions about terms, right? All you respond is, okay, well, that's fair enough, right? What happens if you don't sell this property, sir, ma'am? What is your plan to sell this? Do you really need to sell this property? Because ultimately you have to do something with it. No, I just wanted to know your cash offer. I just wanted to see what you guys would even pay. You know what I call that? I call that a tire kicker. It's not a closable lead. If they're not willing to be flexible, they're not willing to do any of that, right? The last resort that I do is like, all right, well, look, I work with I work with a group of investors. I work with, a team of real estate professionals. Would you even consider listing the property? And then that's your last resort. If they are not willing to do your cash deal, they're not willing to allow terms, they don't want to do a JV, or it doesn't make sense to do a JV, and they don't want to go ahead and list this property, then you don't have a lead. You don't have a closable deal, and that's okay too. You know what that's called? It's called a follow-up. And remember, and a no today doesn't mean a no tomorrow. Just means a no right now. There are deals that I've put, in my pipeline and my follow-up that they rejected me over and over in 2019. 2020 came around, right? They say, hey, I just received your follow-up email. And you know what, man, I was thinking about it, this pandemic and the this and the that. I'm tired of these tenants. I'm ready to sell. It was a no in 2019, because it was a no right now, but it was a yes in 2020. And that's a lead that I could have discarded. That's a lead that I would have flushed down the toilet, but it created a $23,000 payday in 2020. So that's the response to if they say no to all of that. And it's okay for them to say that, because the whole point here is you want to see how you can monetize the lead. And some of them are not. Some of them you can figure out by asking these questions if they are real sellers or they're tire kicking. And so, yeah, the end of the script is just basically doing the appointment, setting the appointment. Beautiful. I'm going to send this to my underwriter. Remember, you're pushing this thing off again, right? And try to get exactly what you exactly or close to what you're looking to get, right? What's the best time to get you back on the phone? Set the appointment. Hey, if we call you back at such and such day at such and such time, you're not going to ignore my call, right? And you put the pressure on them to make sure they answer your call when you set the appointment, right? Setting that stage, making sure that you're not chasing them now. You don't want to chase them, because that's the only downfall to letting go of the deal on the first call, that you may end up in a chasing situation, right? And in order to avoid that, you just put the pressure on them. Hey, thank you so much for answering those calls. We really want to go ahead and see if we can, come close to this number and make this deal work for you. I appreciate it. Hey, look, we're going to call you on Friday at 3:00 in the afternoon. You're not going to ignore my call, right? Great. And then, I'll talk to you then. And then that's it. What I have here on this other screen is just, so in my sales funnel, what I do is I have my acquisition managers kind of go through the script. They actually do send it to an underwriter, which is me, right? And they tell me what the problem is, what they're looking to solve, what their net number, mortgage information, if they're open to subject to, if they're open to JV, right? The callback time. And then I either tell them what to say, right? Or what to propose, how to structure the deal, or I get on the call and I, kind of close the deal. So that's what this second page is all about. You guys can use the same thing if you got a team and you just want them to funnel it to somebody that can work the numbers and understands this type of structuring, and then have the sales guy either go back or, you're moving it to like a sales manager to really, close these deals. Was that helpful, guys?
Yep, for sure, man.
Cool.
Definitely.
Hey, what's up, Kasi?
Awesome. So what else we got for them, Esteban?
All right. We've been running already for 1 hour. I know you
Yeah.
can give us a little bit more time. You said maybe 10 more
Yeah,
minutes. to run calls.
I got like a 10. Yeah,
Awesome.
I got a
So we
1:30.
covered that. We covered script. We covered the art of tonality. Cash offer doesn't work. And maybe we covered a little bit of dealing with seller objections.
Yeah. This one is really quick, and obviously, if you guys keep coming back for some more, and we'll be more than happy to give you additional value, whatnot. But dealing with the seller objection, I mean, it's the same thing as the beginning, right? It's just like really digging for pain, really asking questions. What happens is that we're always looking for, what is the cash offer? What is the cash offer? We're, dying to get these deals, pennies on the dollar and stuff like that. And the objection is good. I like objection. I like when sellers, come at me with questions. And I actually want to show you guys a call that would be a phenomenal example of that, where she asked me the question. She asked me for the objection. She was on board and the husband was not. And then there was additional, all it is underlining questions. It's providing additional value, providing certainty, right? And making sure that you're able to overcome those obstacles. That's all it is, right? And it's digging deeper and then educating them, right? And letting them know that they're doing something good, that this makes more sense for them to do versus, hey, in cash is not going to work, this, that, and the other. And now you answer a bunch of the different underlining questions that maybe you didn't hit before. And that's how you really overcome a lot of the objections. We can definitely go into some of those detailed questions and things of that nature in another call. But that's really what it is. You want to go ahead and educate these people, because that's all it is just lack of knowledge, right? Or lack of information. And then being able to go ahead and empower them to make the right decision. Okay. If you want, go ahead, let's play that call. Do you guys have an additional, 16, 20 minutes for me?
If you guys have 16, 20 more minutes, give me a 1 in the chat.
Yes. Let's go.
Awesomeness.
Ray has a question about the sub too. We will get to more questions at the end, Ray. Okay, so you can stay longer if you don't have.
We're gonna go through to like 1:30, guys. So save your questions, all that stuff. We're gonna go ahead and Esteban, when you play this, if you can do it like on 1.2, kind of speeds things up. And what we'll do is it's going to answer a lot of questions. You're going to see how I kind of talk to these people and how I structure it. And then we'll answer questions at the end.
Absolutely. I believe I have here the link. Let me just go here, follow this link. Call with Pamela. Can you guys hear me properly?
Yep.
Okay, you're good.
Is there a way that I can speed it up here with this one?
Unless it's downloaded, I don't know.
Let me just open it with VLC. Okay.
Hello, Pamela.
Yes, this is Steve.
Hey, this is Juan. This is Juan. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing well. I believe you had a chat with George. Might have been last week regarding your property on 127.
Right.
Yes. I hope I didn't catch you at a bad time. I think you had a confirmed appointment for this time.
No, I had scheduled it, I think.
Okay, phenomenal. Yeah, I know that I think George might have texted you or something like that, and then everything is confirmed. So yeah, I wanted to follow back up with you regarding this property. I appreciate you going on Facebook and filling out the questionnaire. But yeah, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well on this happy Monday.
Good.
I'm good. So tell me a little bit about this interesting property. I understand that you're looking to sell this home. Do you currently live at this property?
Yes, we do. We're ready to move. We need to get more space. We need like a granny suite because my mom is going to be moving in with us soon. So we think it's better to just get a bigger property with more amenities and stuff. This house, it's a basic starter house. It's a starter house, and the bones are good. Everything about it is good. Good foundation, good roof, good air conditioning and water and plumbing.
Okay.
And electricity. So the bones of it are good. It's just a plain house. That's all. It's a 3-bedroom, 1 bath.
So it just needs a little bit of updating, and then we have a big gem.
I'm not sure if it
Or a
needs
nice
updating,
gem.
but yeah, right. Yeah, it's got the original hardwood floors and windows and stuff. So
Okay.
it's, you know,
I actually saw some pictures on the internet. I don't know, does the house currently look like that? I think you might have tried to list it or something. Yeah.
Yes, it's blue and it's got
pretty.
some jet black siding, and we're trying to xeriscape the front lawn.
No, it looks very, very pretty. I like the fact that you have the original wood floors, nice and stained. Yeah, there's a lot of good attributes to the property for sure. Did you make an attempt to list it on the?
We did.
Okay.
We did. We weren't very aggressive about it, and so we took it off the market.
If you want,
and we were thinking of
real quick.
like putting it.
So I hit her up with my first objection. So I put it in front of her, like, you try to list this, right? And guess what? She's gonna tell me, yeah, they didn't come out and just openly say, yeah, we tried to list it and this and that. No, I already gave her the objection, like, you already tried to list it and you couldn't sell it, right? And so I put that in front, and now she's gonna tell me what happened. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, you go ahead and play it so you can answer that.
She already told us that she tried to list it, but she also told us that I think she mentioned her mother also was going through some stuff.
Yeah, she was. So she tried to list it, failed because she wasn't aggressive with it, and it's just not making sense. And then I dug a little deeper regarding, the mortgage, and it's because the mortgage is so high compared to what she's trying to sell it. She would need to bring money to the table. Basically, is going to end up happening.
Back on in March.
Yes.
But with the holiday season coming and my mom's health going down, it seems like we really need to probably move out sooner rather than later.
I'm so sorry to hear that. I've been getting some terrible news across the country with, people with health issues and stuff like that. And I'm just praying for like revival and, for health, because it's not a tough situation to deal with. We got so many things being thrown at us. 2020 has been like, I don't know, Twilight Zone.
Right. Yeah. Right? It's been a bad year for everyone.
Yeah. But you know what? Everything is a cycle, and it's just kind of like a refresh. So I really don't even want to put that negative stuff out there. I know things are going to turn around for the best. So
right, that's what I'm hoping.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, and so tell me, I guess you want to do this sooner than later, right? So I understand that. Yeah. I understand, the reason why you need to sell the property. It's a good property. Yeah, I think you put here that you're asking about $145,000 for the property.
Right. Or that is negotiable.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, because I'm just want to make sure that it makes sense for us as well. Obviously, we're investors, and we buy properties typically in cash, right? And when you do the whole cash thing, we need a sufficient amount of equity in order for us to go ahead and say, yeah, it's a safe investment to put up this type of money, right? I don't know. Let me see here. I don't know if
that might be the problem. That could be a problem because we've only lived here for about a year, so we still owe about $134. That could be. Yeah, we've been told that by other investors, that.
Oh no, but that's not an issue. We can work around that. Okay. We can work around it. Just depends on how flexible you are and like your current situation. If you let's just say, for example, that you guys needed to go ahead and purchase another property that you were going to consider financing, cash. What's the?
No, we need to finance it with my husband's VA loan, which is why we're trying to clear out this mortgage.
And is this one under a VA loan as well?
Yes, it is.
It is. Okay. So I'm assuming you can only have one VA loan, or can you have multiple?
No, we can have multiple.
Okay. The reason I asked,
but of course it brings the amount down each time,
Yeah, I understand. Well, your mortgage is how? If you don't mind me asking, what does it cost you to kind of run the property, mortgage, property insurance, taxes? Is it all in
per
one?
Month?
Yeah.
It's about $990? Oh, $960.
And that includes the property insurance and taxes?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yep. EITI. Okay. All right, 960. Because what we could do, because and you say you still owe 134 approximately, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. As an investor, right, I'm going to be honest with you. I typically would have to purchase these properties closer to the $100,000 dollar mark for all cash, and I know that you keep getting that. I'm 100% sure of that, right? Mm-hmm. But I could probably purchase it for the 134. The only thing is we would need to potentially leave that mortgage in place for a little bit. And then if you go apply for a new loan, what we could do is get in contact with the mortgage broker, so we can provide a debt to income ratio form, so that it shows that you guys are not the ones responsible for the current monthly payments. So that would bring your debt to income ratio down, right?
Okay.
So something like that might work for us if we can take over this this mortgage payment.
That might possibly work for us because we were
okay. You consider, yeah, because it's right now. I mean, once I have enough equity in the property, then I can potentially, you know, kind of take care of the underlying loan, and then you guys are good. It's just right now it makes it a little difficult, and I want to be a part of solving your problem. Not really a problem, but just like, you know, your next move that you have to make, right? And that might be it. I may have to kind of figure out the rental income in the area, because that's probably what we would end up doing, is cash flowing it for a little bit. So if I can get, you know, someone in there for a little bit more than what your mortgage is, this may make sense for us, right?
Right. And I assume you probably could, because we've rented for more than that.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, and again, the house is in good shape, which is good. At this price point, I really don't like putting a lot of work into these properties, because I'm already buying at the top of the market.
Right. And
So,
it's basically, it's ready for move-in. Only thing is the bathtub. Bathtub needs to be resurfaced.
Okay. Well, that's easy. That's not even a weekend job.
Yeah. And basically that is it. It's got new counters and things. Oh, and the bathtub faucet, you know, we don't know how to fix it.
Well, it's just those are little minor things, and that's fine. If we would be able to do that, right? Take over the monthly mortgage payments, leave everything intact. We're not going to change the insurance. We're not going to change the name on the loan. So you guys are going to be holding this mortgage for some time. Okay. Is that something you folks would strongly consider, if, you know, we can put that together?
Well, what is the risk for us, you know, since it's going to be held in our name? Like, if we forfeit on, you know, what kind of risk does that have to have?
Absolutely. No, and I'm glad that you asked the question, because that is the number one question people have when we do these type of deals. So that you are protected, what we do is we hire a third party company, like a debt servicing company, and what they do is they pretty much insure the transaction, because the biggest concern are two concerns. Number one is obviously if I defaulted, right? And so when we do the transaction with a title company or a closing attorney, we would of course, make sure that we have clear title other than the lien that's on it, which is the, you know, $134,000 loan. Make sure that there's no other encumbrances or, you know, back taxes and things of that nature. Once that's cleared up and everything is fine, and we're going through the transaction and changing, you know, title, because we will change title, and you're just keeping the mortgage, we would fill out, right, a quit claim deed, which the debt service provider will hold, so that if we don't make the payments, and, you know, it happens quickly, like that means they send you a statement every single month letting you know that I've made the payment. The month that I don't make the payment and you decide to exercise that quit claim deed, you can go ahead and file it, get the property back, so you won't go into default. What ends up happening is you get to keep, you know, all the money that I paid into the mortgage. So basically you would have additional equity in the property. And because we obviously maintain this property, we're the ones who, you know, kind of put all the any kind of updates, fix the faucets, fix the, you know, you get an approved, right, improved property, okay? And so therefore you can go ahead and take over the property again, right, and go ahead and resell it, and you'll have enough equity. So that's basically the risk on your part. The only other risk that you would have is, and that's why we hire the servicing company to insure the transaction, is that, you know, if we did some change like insurance policy, or they kind of find out that we are making the payments on your behalf, they could call the due on sale clause, which means that they give us a certain period of time to pretty much clear out the debt, right? Because 90% of the loans are not transferable. So the workaround is using the debt servicing companies that insure the transactions. So if something were to happen and that came true, then the debt servicing company is the one who's responsible for that. I have to pay an extra fee to have them service that, but I think for the security, it's worth every single penny, right? Other than that, that's basically the risk that you folks have on your end, because
and you did mention that you would eventually be putting it in, the title would be taken out of our name. Like, what kind of timeline would that be like?
Oh, that happens that happens while we are in this process of title and taking over the payments. That happens right away. So I'll let you know that right up front. Like the property is going to be under our trust, right? And you just own the underlining debt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why
at what point will you take it out of us?
When we pay off the mortgage, or, you know, refinance or something like that out of the loan.
How long does that typically take?
It could take 24 to 60 months at times. It just really depends on what the market's doing. And if we decided at that time, let's just say in 2 years, there's enough appreciation and we can go ahead and resell it, it could happen sooner than that. You know, I can get a potential tenant that loves the property and they qualify now. They want to buy it off of me. That can happen within like 12, 18 months. But
Okay.
just know that, we're going to ask for at least a 60 month before it gets, kind of transferred out.
60 months is what, 5 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least it could extend. It could extend because I'm in it for the long haul. In reality, we just want the cash flow. But you have to understand that will be there. But we could put something in there that, that at least 60 months, we would have to leave it under your name.
Now, they would be paying it every month, right? My husband's here next to me.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
So that means that you would be making the payment that we would be paying.
Yeah, correct. So it's going to come out of our account. We set up that debt servicing company, and so we wire that money every single month, and then you guys get a statement that we are making those payments. So that you know
that affect our credit in any way? Is this going to affect our credit, or is
it's probably going to? No, it won't be off your credit because obviously you're leaving the mortgage under your name, but it's probably going to improve your credit because the credit history looks longer, the payment history looks positive, right? And then you're building equity in the property. God forbid I got hit by a truck. God forbid. You're able to kind of get your property back because the quick claim deed is going to allow you to go ahead and enforce it, right? If I didn't make the payment. And then obviously you have the appreciation of the property plus the equity that has been built because the payments have been being made. Obviously that I'm not going to allow that to happen just because I don't like losing money. But if something were to happen to me or my company, then at least you have the protection that you get the property back and you have enough equity. Now you can go ahead and put it back on the market, keep it as a rental. You do as you please at that point, as long as it's a positive, outcome for you guys. But I don't see much negative. Is there risk? Absolutely, with everything. But this would probably be one of the better solutions to kind of move forward on a in a timely manner as far as your goal, and then allowing a win-win situation here.
Okay. Did you want to come look at the property?
Yeah, I can go ahead and have one of my partners go ahead and take a look at it. This call is just really to even figure out if you folks were even remotely interested in doing something like that, because if it wasn't something that was of interest, then I could have probably proposed something else. It wouldn't have really made much of an impact, and it might take a long time. My other option, I don't think it's something that you should do, but that's why we have to have these conversations. So if you guys are saying yes, I would definitely.
Well, I'm saying yes. My husband has some hesitation.
Okay.
So that's why. I mean, if you want to send your guy to come look at it, and we could discuss it further, it's not off the table.
Yeah, that's fine. Right. That's fine. I think that's fair enough. My partners are in San Antonio, so it's like a skip away to you guys, and you just got to let me know when you guys are available. I can get a couple time slots. Maybe I can just text you. If you tell me, this day and this day around this time, then I can kind of figure out when my partner's available, and then I'll shoot you a text letting you know it's confirmed for XYZ day.
Okay, well, anything but Tuesday or Thursdays. Tuesday and Thursdays are our busy days. Yeah, those are busy days.
Those are busy days, so anything, okay. All right.
And then we could pause it here because all that was just scheduling the appointment and stuff like that.
Awesome.
Just a little chit chat at the end. But yeah, as you can see, I brought up objections, she brought up objections. I, kind of confirmed how this all works. The husband was still on the fence, and it was just like getting through clarity on who's making the mortgage payments or not and how that works. Once we did that, the guy signed the contract 2 days after. That was pretty much it. But I want to open up for some Q&A now. Let me get some feedback on the recording, on questions for this entire session, and see how I can add some additional value.
Awesome. We got into the Q&A right now, questions, guys. And I know we've had some questions in the chat. Ray got a question. I think Chris got a question. And, Michael was just giving a comment. But yeah, it's an opportunity for you guys to ask now. By all means, do it. Hey, by the way, stay until the end, okay? I got maybe a surprise for you guys. If you guys stay until the end, also just let us know if we have given you value in the Facebook group, in our private Facebook group, and give us a comment, like post something if this was a valuable call. I would love for you guys to post something because we will be making more masterclasses, but we would, we will only be making masterclasses if it adds value to a lot of people. And so let everyone know if it added value to you, if it was good call, if you learned, if you picked up some stuff that you didn't know. let us know in the Facebook group, and so that we could make more type of this stuff coming in the future. Okay.
I have a question. Do I qualify for the surprise too or no?
Absolutely.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So yeah, let me see if I can go through the chat here and
Hey,
answer some questions
I
here.
posted the question in the chat. Basically, I want to find out, how do you pull your comps? How do you come up with your ARV? And what is your starting point as far as the negotiations? Are you going like 60% of the ARV, 65? What number is your starting point?
As low as humanly possible.
Of course.
No, so then the real question, the real answer to that is, because I dream about this stuff. Okay, sales is my thing. I know that there's a lot of gurus and there's a lot of teachers and there's a lot of people that tell you this is the math equation. There is no math equation to this. It really is trying to get it as low as humanly possible. And the only way that you do that is finding out what is the pain point for the seller. Find out the number from the seller. Don't ever spit the number first. This is rule number one of wholesaling, of real estate investing, period, right? Creative financing, whatever thing real estate. The first person to throw out their number loses.
Right, I got that, and basically, my question is because lately I'm getting numbers that are like huge. They really almost close to the retail, and I'm like, seriously?
And that's okay, but that's okay. That's why you need to figure out why they're there. Okay. Ask them the question. Ask them, ma'am, how did you get that number? Oh, I saw that number on Zillow. Okay, well, Zillow, right? And then you tell them about Zillow. Well, Zillow is taking into account, 123 Main Street, 336 Main Street, and blah, blah, blah Main Street. Does your house look exactly like that with a brand new cabinetry, brand new stainless steel appliances? Did you do all your floors? Did you do all your kitchen? Did you have a brand new roof? No, I didn't. So honestly, ma'am, that Zillow value, unfortunately, that doesn't really validate the value of your home, because if you were to put it on the market for the same price as your neighbor, okay, most likely you're not going to get that number because those homes are upgraded, right? Boom. So what would make sense, sir, ma'am, for you to sell the property in as is condition right now? No closing costs, no. So remember, ma'am, those prices that you see on Zillow, those are people that listed with an agent and they didn't sell it for sale by owner. So they pay closing costs, they pay agent commission, they had to fix up the house, they had to maintain the water bill, the electric bill, the lawn service, holding costs, right? Taxes.
So with that said, for that phone call, you already prepared with your 1, 2, 3, whatever comps, and you know exactly if she's gonna go that route. What is your response to it, right?
Right, and exactly. So how did you get that number? Because all you're getting right now, what you're telling me is that you're getting an objection. The objection that you got was, well, I'm looking for market value or close to market value.
Correct.
That's the objection. So it's not like, well, it's not like what it is that there's different levels of objection, right? And the objection for you on this specific scenario is the fact that she wants market value. So for you, it's an objection. For her, it's not an objection. You don't see it that way, right?
Right.
But
right.
For you, it is. So you need to overcome that objection by educating, remember, and empowering. Okay, I understand. Okay, well, look, I understand your house is in good shape. It doesn't really need a roof and everything is standard. Everything is working. But in order for me to get these values that you see on Zillow or what you saw your neighbor sell for, we need to add improvements. Do you know how much it costs to go ahead and do a kitchen, ma'am? Do you know how much it would cost to remodel the thing? Do you know how many months you have to deal with permitting, right, with the city? Time is money in this business, to be honest with you, ma'am. Yeah, I understand. Okay, so I'm not saying no to your number, ma'am. What I am saying is, what makes the most sense for us to buy it in as is condition? Pay all your closing costs. You would have no commission. We'll buy it as is, how is, where is. What makes sense, ma'am? So it's not a, do I negotiate 65, 70%, 50%? I want to, when people tell me, what's your number? What's your number? What's your number? Sir, ma'am, I don't want to insult you. Okay, because you know it's coming. So preempt the objection. Okay, don't get them pissed off by giving them the number first. Ma'am, I'd rather not give you the number because I'm an investor, right? And if it was up to me, I would buy your house for $1. I'm not saying that that's what I'm going to do, but if you seriously said, listen, I'll sell you this property for $1, I'm not going to tell you, yes, ma'am, I'm going to buy it for market value. I'm going to pay you your $1 for the property.
Right. How do you looking for your comps if you don't have the MLS access?
Sure. I use PropStream.
I'm sorry, what was that?
PropStream.
Okay.
I'll put it down in the chat. Hold on.
Yeah. We have a PropStream link if you guys want to use it.
Okay, yeah, give them that then. That's better.
Awesome.
And then as far as negotiation, you just got to work that backwards, my friend, and try to, get it as low as possible. Obviously, the rules of thumb are always to get it 65, 70% minus expenses. Typically a safe number, but in reality, it's what is it that the client really wants, and then what do you structure from there? Right. What is the real pain point? So that you can be better than the rest, because everybody's going to go ahead, and most real estate investors, they're going to hit them with a cash hammer. And if you go in there as a problem solver, that's really where the negotiation is. Forget about everything else. Forget about the comps. Forget about 9 times out of 10, brother, I'm going to be honest with you. I get on the calls and I just get on the calls. You remember how I talked about, just do it like Nike?
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I do. I don't even look at the numbers. Because at the end of the day, they might just be absolutely crazy, and they'll tell me that they want 500,000 for a property that's worth 200 grand. And I just sat there for 15, 20 minutes running comps and figuring out numbers and square footage and what corner lot and rehab, not rehab, cash. And I did all of that for nothing. I got on the call. They want $500,000. It wasn't even a deal to begin with. Worth my time. So that's my advice to you. And then work the numbers backwards, or figure out what is the solution for this specific client. That's true negotiation.
Yeah, I sent you the request on the Facebook. I noticed that you have 2 friends that are mutual, Dom and G. How do you know them?
Dom?
Yeah.
Over in Jacksonville?
Uh-huh.
Man, those boys are my boys in Jacksonville. Yeah. We've been through a bunch of masterminds together, a bunch of events together. We call each other on deals, stuff like that. I mean, I've been in the business for some time now, and I know quite a bit of people.
Yeah,
thank God.
I had the pleasure to deal with them too, and I bought a condo from them, and I was on their masterminds too, and walked through office and all that stuff. So
yeah, those guys are awesome. They're rock stars. I met them when they first started their partnership. But solid people, and we traveled to Arizona together. We've met out in Tampa, Jacksonville, Orlando. So yeah, they're awesome guys.
Yeah, they are. They're
awesome.
Cool. Grinders, man, grinders.
Super. I love them.
All right. So Ray asked a question: can seller change his mind after agreeing to give you the difference between his asking and sales price? Like he's ultimately the one signing the closing.
Yeah. So there again, I didn't want to get too deep into it, but basically I make them sign a power of attorney. I have them sign a specific contract that says that they can't back out. I got them locked in, like I control the entire property. If I'm putting in money into this property, that property is mine.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Juan. Thanks for all the information. Like a lot of great content there. I had a quick question for you about subject 2. What happens in the event that the seller is tied into that mortgage? In other words, they cannot get another mortgage. They want to move out, but it's going to affect their DTI, and ultimately they can't sell it. So what do you do in this case? The call that we listened to, she was able to get another VA loan, so it was all it all worked out at the end. But so what happens when you have a seller who cannot basically sell that property until they get rid of that and it's completely paid off? And the second question is, what happens when, for example, and this property was, I think, 132 and you were taking over the mortgage, but what happens if it's, let's say, they want 120 they only owe 20,000 and you're supposed to come up with 100,000 to the closing table. So how do you make sense out of the numbers? Thank you.
Yes. So in regards to the first question, which was what if they can't get another loan? Typically, if you work with a mortgage broker and you provide the DTI form, then it's like anything else. It's not it shouldn't affect them getting another loan just because they're not responsible for that monthly payment. It's like owning a rental property, right? And then you want to go ahead and buy another primary home. So now that becomes like a rental property or an asset, and it doesn't count towards your disposable income. So 9 times out of 10, that's the case. But if not, if they cannot do it by any means, then honestly, we just can't get the deal done. Because if they can't move out and they can't, be flexible for us to purchase it, then it's just not a good deal for right now. So it's a no today and a yes tomorrow. Okay. And then I think your second question was if they have a lot of equity. Is that what you stated?
Correct. Yes. If you have a lot of equity, and do you just come up with the money to closing table? And in that point, would it still make sense to do a subject to, because
Right. Right.
it's just the balance is too low.
Sure. Sure. Let's take an example so that everybody understands. The property's ARV is 200 grand. Okay. They have a mortgage of 50,000 still left over. So there is technically $150,000 in equity, right?
Yep.
Okay. Obviously, in order for me to get the deal done, I'm not going to go ahead and pay this person $150,000 down. What you do there is you're going to put your sales hat on and you're going to negotiate the equity, right? Number one, I'm going to beat them down. Like, listen, I know you're going to sell this property for 200,000 and I'm willing to pay 200,000, but typically you'll have closing costs, agent commission, this, that, and the other. So you're not going to net that kind of money. What we could do, right, is that I can agree to purchase this property at $200,000. And I know that you have $150,000 in equity, okay, minus the $50,000 in mortgage. Let me take over that mortgage payment, okay, number one. And then number two, how much of that equity do you actually need today to get this deal done? Because just because they have $150,000 in equity doesn't mean that they need to pull 150. They may just need 50,000 today. So now I can go ahead and say, okay, would you be able to finance me, right, the additional 100? So now I'm getting a second mortgage, right? Technically speaking, it's an owner finance with a subject to, and I'm going to wrap the whole thing together. And as long as the numbers still make sense where I still have cash flow, then I can go ahead and get the deal done.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. So in the event they need their money right away, because again, they're looking to purchase another house, then it's obviously there's no deal there, right?
There's no deal there. I mean, if they have that kind of equity in the property and they desperately need to go ahead and sell in order to buy the other one, then why can't they just list it on the market? They have equity, right? They need to get out and they need to go ahead and buy another home. So at that point, all you could do is say, hey, listen, I can refer you to the top agent in the area, or I'm an agent myself. What I could do is I can, instead of, a 3% commission, maybe we can do it for 2.5%. And then you just get the listing agreement and you monetize that lead, right? Or refer to somebody that can give you a referral fee for giving them a handoff, right? And like that, you at least paid for the lead.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
The last part, is there any way we can get maybe that call to our acquisition manager, if it's possible?
Esteban, is that part of one of the
call will be recorded right now, and we will put it into a membership site that we have. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your help.
Hey, Juan, can I ask a question about insurance and the subject to?
Yeah, I think I saw that as well, that you had the insurance question.
Yeah.
What was that? What was that?
So you mentioned that, you don't do anything with insurance, but if you're taking title in a trust, you're going to have to switch the insurance to the name of the trust. Maybe not companies, but
you
the
just
name
add it to the current insurance policy
as like an additional insured.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, because you want to leave the mortgage and insurance intact. Things like insurance, because just like an auto insurance, whenever you change it or you don't have it and you have like a lease or a finance deal, they will report it to that mortgage company, and obviously that's a no-no, right? And so that's going to raise a red flag and may cause the due on sale clause to kick in. So typically you don't change any of that, and then you just add the trust as a loss payee on the policy. That's all.
Okay.
And that's okay,
So-
because most people do create trusts and stuff like that in real estate. So that to them is not a big deal. It shouldn't trigger the due on sale.
Okay, thanks.
I believe someone asked also regarding the servicing companies. There's a ton of them. If you just Google, debt servicing company, whatever state, they'll definitely come up. This is a very common practice, and these folks are out there. Obviously, for profit, it's like a management company, right? And they charge a small fee. I don't, anywhere between 60, 100, 150 bucks. Depends on what the level of care, and then yeah, they take care of the rest for you. So that's super easy. Any
Awesome.
other questions?
Any other questions, guys? Talk now. Or
not
or
forever, but
forever.
until next time.
Until next
Hey,
time.
can I chime in with an answer to one of the earlier questions?
Yeah.
So one thing that I did with the subject to where the seller needed to close on another house right away, and they needed to get their existing mortgage off their DTI, and they couldn't wait, even like 2 months to be able to get the letter. We just timed the closings to where we were closing right before their new closing, and we just submitted the purchase and sale agreement to their new broker or whoever. And we had a separate subject to agreement, so it just didn't say anything about whether or not the mortgage was going to be paid off. But the fact that our sale closed a couple of days before their new closing, they assumed that the loan would be paid off and allowed them to buy a new house, because it was kind of happening around the same time. I'm not giving legal advice. I'm just saying I did that once and it worked for me and the seller.
That's correct. None of us are attorneys here, and so there are a lot of ninja stuff that work out. And with a good mortgage broker and title company, you guys should be able to pull that off. It's a very unique and creative, way of structuring. This is all creative, guys. I mean, that's the whole point of it. There's nothing like concrete, structured, or whatever. There's a framework for it, but everything is very, very creative. And as long as you have the right people on your side, you should be able to go ahead and convert a lot of those deals. There is a solution to every problem.
Hello,
So thank you,
this
Nick.
is Ray. I have a quick question. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, Juan. I think we met at Laura
Yes,
Laura
sir.
Almari. Yes, I remember a couple of years ago. It was a great convention. So my question is, when it comes to the legal forms and the technicality of structuring the subject to, I understand it's another course, another class, but if we need access to that information or that resource, is there any way we can get it? Just wondering.
So I'm going to tell you this, Ray. For me, it's called Keep It Simple. You know what I use for my subject twos? I use my regular cash offer contracts, and then I just put the terms in the additional terms, and then I let the title companies get legal with it, or closing attorneys get legal with the subject to and stuff like that. I provide those forms. To be quite honest with you, the last thing you want to do is send a 22-page document, right, for subject to, owner finance, all this other stuff, and they have to get very complicated, find a legal department that can even understand what we're looking to do with subject to, and then you lose the deal. So can I provide you with that? Absolutely. But I'm going to tell you right now, just keep it super duper simple. Put all the terms that you agree on the additional terms of your regular contract, get that signed. And after it's signed, remember the rule of thumb is once a seller has signed a contract, they already spent the money or have moved on thinking that their problem has been solved. Understand? And so now asking them for additional documents or getting things done is going to be so much easier because they already committed. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, yes.
Can they back out? Yes, absolutely. But the same thing happens with cash. The same thing happens in any transaction. But locking them in and getting them, problem solved for the meantime until we can get legal involved and they can sign the appropriate document, that's the next step. But for now, you want to be in front of them and locking the deals in, and then worrying about the complicated process, which you can delegate to somebody else.
Perfect. But you also have to create like a trust, like a land trust for the subject to, or not really?
Not really, but it is recommended. And again,
Okay.
the title companies like that do these type of deals, right?
Okay.
They are definitely very knowledgeable on how to structure it the right way so that everybody is protected. Between the title company and the servicing company, if you get those two, kind of in sync, you guys will be very, very successful in doing the subject to type of deals.
Perfect, because I'm in the Orlando area, so I'm hoping if you can share the servicing company and the title company you use, I would really appreciate it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can definitely share that as well. So I think that Esteban has everybody's contact, and we will be able to provide those resources.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, guys. Hey, guys, if you guys have gotten some value out of this, please, 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 in order for us to do more masterclasses, we need to get your feedback on the Facebook group or a video. If you guys can also create a video, but tell us in the Facebook group that you guys enjoyed it, you guys learned, tell us that it was value. Let us know so that we can create more of this stuff for you guys and even more detail oriented. Okay. So please do that, 100% do that. After this call, go under Facebook and just post. And I'll really appreciate that. Juan would also really appreciate that. If you guys want to post with a selfie where you're smiling, that's also good. That's also awesome. And just to guys let you know, we also, if you guys have any trouble closing deals that you know that there could have been closable, but you maybe are messing up in your sales skills and you still need a little bit of help, as you still need a little bit of nurturing on your sales or closing skills, or maybe your acquisitions guys are not doing the job properly, we have Juan Nicasio available to you guys. Okay, we have Juan Nicasio available to you guys so that he can take on this inbound motivated sellers or appointments with motivated sellers, and he can close these deals. Of course, those are terms that we will have to negotiate, but he's available for you guys. All right.
Yes, sir. So I appreciate you guys jumping on the call today. I mean, it shows the dedication you guys have for, number one, educating yourselves, pouring into yourselves, pouring into your business, right? Because on a Sunday, we could be with the family doing some other stuff in the middle of the day, and you're here with us. So I'm honored, and I appreciate you guys being with us. Thank you so much for kind of digging in and giving us feedback. We really, really appreciate that, and hope that we can see each other on the next call.
Absolutely. So thank you, guys. Let's keep closing. Always be closing. All right.
Always be closing, guys. Awesome. So you guys have a wonderful and safe week. Go out and crush it. Remember, zero fear. Get in front of it. And like Nike, just do it.
If you guys love this call, gives us a thumbs up, which is a 1 in the chat, and also post.
Thank you, guys.
Take care, guys.
Awesome. Have a good one. All right.
All right.
Take care.